again, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. So thanks so much for joining us today. I'm going to stay on the safe harbor statements for a few seconds. So this is Fari Javan Mahdi, and I'm a principal product manager with the product strategy team. This series of webinars are hosted by our team: Ben Arnold, Senior Director of Product Strategy, Alex Tussman, Senior Product Manager, and Jamie Anderson, Senior Principal Product Manager. So we will host these webinars on a quarterly basis after each roadmap update that you can find on the analytics community website. And I'm going to put some of these links that we talk about during this session in the chat so you can access them easily. And we also have presenters from both product strategy team and product management team today. So Avinash Krishnaram has joined us. He is a director of product management on the Oracle Analytics platform. Isabel Nuesh, senior director of product strategy, and Brandon Dole, principal product manager. So thank you to the Oracle team for joining us today. And in regards to the agenda, of course, we have the introduction. Ben will talk about some of the updates on the Oracle Analytics community. Isabel and Brandon will talk about the recent Gartner Magic Quadrant announcement. I hope you all have had a chance to look at the recent Magic Quadrant for BI and Analytics Solutions, and also talk about the Gartner Bake-Off results. These are very exciting news to share. And also Avinash will walk us through the Oracle Analytics roadmap and highlight some of the features that we are excited for in the future months. We will have a live Q&A at the end, but in the meantime, please feel free to use the Q&A box. And as we move forward with the webinar, Oracle team will address the questions in the meantime. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Ben.
Thank you, Fari. Thanks everyone for joining today. It's the first webinar that we do on the product roadmap. So we are going to go to the next slide. And basically, we will have this webinar, I believe, every quarter. So remember, we have different products. We have Oracle Analytics Cloud, Oracle Analytics Server. So this webinar today, it's for these two products. And then we have Fusion Data Intelligence, which is basically Oracle Analytics plus Autonomous Data Warehouse, plus the data model, and so on and so on. This is a different webinar. We will have two webinars every quarter now to come, explain to you what is our product roadmap, and more importantly, reply to your question, because every time we release a roadmap, a lot of you have questions. One important thing to know is that we are relaunching the Oracle Analytics community. So we put the community link into the chat. You have to know that we have thousands and thousands of users coming to this website from Western Digital, from Vanguard, from Harvard, and so on and so on. They come to speak about Oracle Analytics, the new feature. They come to ask how to create the best workbook. And on the other side, we have some ACE. ACE are experts from Oracle, from outside of Oracle, sorry, to answer your question. So inside this community website, you have a lot of experts. You have also partner. I think I saw some of the partners joining today, like Joël Achat and a few others. So again, if you go to the community website, you will have answer in less than 24 hours to your question. We are also posting all the events. So you will see all these quarterly roadmap, which are going to be inside the event tab. We have also an ID lab. So if you look at this specific product roadmap and you feel that we are missing a specific data visualization type or a specific feature, you can go in the community website, go inside the ID lab, and submit an ID request and a feature request. And Avinash, Gabi, and a few other people from the product team will come, look at your ID, and provide some comments. Again, if we are here today, it's for the product roadmap. A lot of features that you put inside the ID lab have been promoted to the product roadmap because of you, because of your ideas. So again, thank you very much for your involvement. Thank you for your engagement, and we are looking to see more ideas. Thanks, Farid. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Ben. Our next presenters are Isabel and Brendan. Isabel, over to you.
Thank you, Farid. So let me share. You will allow me to share.
You should be able to share now. I stopped sharing.
Okay.
Very good.
So I'm sure you've all seen this on social media or in the press. Well, we are really thrilled to share that we are leader in the latest Gartner Magic Quadrant for analytics and BI platforms. We were recognized with these key strengths. First, decision-centric business apps. So as Oracle continues to progress decision workflows embedded in business apps and processes, empowering specific roles with recommendations at the point where they make the most impact. Second, enterprise cloud ecosystem. Oracle offers an end-to-end cloud solution, including infrastructure, data management, analytics, and analytic apps with recognized data centers in cloud regions globally. Third, data management and integration. Oracle has global recognition for its data management and integration capabilities, and Oracle is able to leverage this to an extreme with pre-built data pipelines and AI models, accelerating business outcomes by overcoming the biggest obstacle to analytics, which is data integration. Clients that invest in Oracle products across the DNA pipeline will see reduced efforts in data management and integration. So this is the a set of key strengths written by Gartner in their Magic Quadrant. So this Magic Quadrant also provides some hints at the next market movements. As you can see, the cloud hyperscalers are entering the arena with their data ecosystem play. So this is a great report, but we should also look at some of the other voices to consider when picking up an analytics solution. For instance, Oracle Analytics was recognized by leader by Forrester, also by IDC, Nicholas, and others. In fact, Oracle Analytics is a leader in the most notable reports from analysts focusing on analytics, whether that's the Gartner Magic Quadrant, the Forrester Wave, the IDC MarketScape, the Nucleus Nucleus Research in 2 reports, Analytics Technology and Embedded Analytics, but also the BARC score, very prominent in Europe, as well as Ventana Bias Guide in 5 different reports. Augmented, embedded, overall analytics and data, mobile analytics, and collaborative analytics. So this means that you can be confident when choosing Oracle for your analytics projects. So what's interesting to note is that with the market convergence to data ecosystems, there are also other reports to consider if you are looking for a more end-to-end approach to your data and analytics workload. So this is a recent Ventana Data Platform Bias Guide where Oracle is listed among the top vendors, as you can see on the top right. There are also 2 sub-reports that accompany this report, focusing on each of the workload, one for analytics and one for operational data platforms. And as you can see, Oracle is very well positioned, and you should certainly evaluate our products and decide with confidence. Now let's go back to our mission and vision. So if we look back at the analytics industry over the years, we've made huge progress in making data accessible to the business user through intuitive experiences for data exploration, visualization, and more. And we're using AI, machine learning, and natural language to make that even easier for users to gain insight for their data. But we've led the business user with the really important responsibility of making decisions based on those insights and then taking actions to improve business outcomes. So the next wave is really to target at helping those business users take intelligent decisions and actions based on their data. So this is the next step in the journey, which is really to empower this entire data insight, decision, and action cycle with AI and Gen AI. So now let's take a quick look at the product itself. So Oracle Analytics Cloud is an industry-leading platform that offers cutting-edge AI-powered analytics for every user in the organization. From dashboarding to interactive visualization to mobile apps on the go, all the way to auto insight and AI assistant. It provides the complete experience that serves the needs of business users, analysts, data scientists, and IT. It offers a very powerful set of capabilities that powers the end-to-end analytics workflow, enabling you to connect, prepare, model, explore, share, and consume. And for our customers using Fusion or NetSuite application and beyond, Fusion Data Intelligence provides connected and continuous insight in context by pre-built and extensible data pipelines, data models, and analytics, so it can accelerate your time to value for your business decisions and action. So now let me hand over to Brendan to cover the Gartner BI Bake-Off.
Super. Hey, everyone. I'm Brendan Doyle, the Analytics Product Strategy team. And what I want to introduce is the Gartner BI Bake-Off. So if you aren't familiar with it, essentially what Gartner does at their data and analytics summits is having a on-stage live competition across 3 vendors. This year, it was Oracle, Microsoft Power BI, and Tableau. And during this presentation, it's all timed. I'll cut your microphone off if you go over any few seconds or so. But it's an opportunity for an apples-to-apples comparison to show the platform's features and demonstrate some of the key capabilities, which I'll highlight in a second. But the biggest thing this year was Oracle's first time on the big stage. We've taken part in the Bake-Off Lite or Bake-Off Mini in years prior, but now we're on the stage with attendees of over 3,500, I'd say. And during this presentation, Jacques Vachant, as you're seeing in the lower center, presented, demoed, and really changed the hearts and minds of the audience around Oracle Analytics when they got to see what we're capable of. Next slide, please. So with each bake-off, Gartner really tries to make it kind of a data for good topic. Last year, it was on the topic of flooding. This year, specifically overcoming poverty and how we can kind of make the world a better place. So they give all the 3 vendors the same exact data set. They also encourage us to enrich it with our own third-party data that we're able to find. As you'd expect, AI was at the forefront of every conversation at these Gartner events. So it was really crucial to show the AI, ML, and generative AI capabilities within the demo itself. Now, the way that the bake-off was structured, next slide, please, is across 4 main components. So every vendor had their own opportunity to present and then kind of counter present after each other. So starting with the data management aspect, this is where we were showing things like data prep and modeling, our data source connectivity, our data catalog, and even our semantic model and metrics layer, doing things like data flows, joining different data sets and enriching the data that you have. In segment 2, with the analysis, content creation, and collaboration, as you're seeing, obviously, it's more the visualization-heavy aspect of the demo itself. So doing things like geospatial, one-click forecasting, leveraging the natural language generation capabilities within Oracle Analytics, and also some of the newer capabilities with our NLQ and NLG LLM-enabled features, and that really wowed the crowd there. Going into section 3, this is where it was all about the collaboration and sharing of the findings. So what we did was we created an infographic, really hitting on all the points Isabel was mentioning, how we're one complete platform, being able to go from analysis to really the storytelling aspect. So with that infographic, putting it all together in a consumable way, but also if you're on the go, being able to show all these analytics right there in your mobile app with Oracle Analytics Mobile, and leveraging things like our podcast feature, where if you're driving, being able to listen to all the key insights within your analyses. And then lastly, within that sharing findings, we're able to publish with Visual Builder, if anyone's a user of that, taking the visualizations directly out of Oracle Analytics Cloud, putting them into a microsite for a campaign to be run off of. And then the nice thing with the bake-off is everything that was shown in the first 3 segments has to be generally available software. The 4th segment, Cool Innovations, allows for you to kind of break from that mold and show things that are in the pipeline or the roadmap for the next 12 to 18 months. And what we actually did was we showed a few things that are in the roadmap, but also cool innovations that are available now, available to our customers. So one being our integration with Story Exchange. And essentially what that is partnering with different generative AI services to really amplify the ability to get your data's message across, be it through things like Canva, or what you're seeing in the lower image is Synthesia, our partnership with an AI avatar generated service. So you can have any type of person aligned to your industry providing these insights within a AI generated avatar. So while you're seeing a different one there, we did leverage some of the unique judges that were on Gartner's stage to kind of more personalize it to our experience. But with that, I'll go to our last two slides of how you can kind of learn more about the bake-off. Our colleague James Richardson has posted a blog. The QR code and links are there. We can share them in the chat as well. Really taking our stance of how we performed and wowed the crowd during the bake-off, but also the full 12-minute demo is on Oracle's YouTube channel. So you feel free to give that a watch, and you'll see really all the live action-packed features that I just covered, but what was shown exactly on the stage itself. And then also one last slide to cover is Gartner's also amplifying the bake-off. It is a reoccurring, one of their most popular segments and sessions at the Data and Analytics Summit. So be sure to check out George O'Callahan, one of the authors of this year's Gartner Magic Quadrant for Analytics and BI, as she was one of the co-hosts for the bake-off. So really getting at all angles of the story itself. But this demo itself definitely changed a lot of people's minds about Oracle Analytics, and I think it helped our position as a leader in the industry as well. But I'll pass it back to Fari and Ben.
Thank you so much, Brendan. Thank you, Isabel. These are all great and exciting news. Our next presenter is Avinash. So Avinash, over to you.
Thank you, Fari. Can you confirm you can see my screen, please?
Yes, and if you can put it in full screen, that would be perfect.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Thanks, Fari and team. Thanks for having me here. My name is Avinash Krishnaram from the Platform Product Management team. And I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking through some of the critical capabilities that's part of our roadmap. The roadmap itself, like Ben said, is published on the Oracle.com website. We update it every quarter. And this is an opportunity for us to sort of provide an update on where we are in terms of our roadmap items, and also share some screenshots of the live products, not markups, right? Work in progress screenshots of these features that we're actively working on. Now, the roadmap itself is divided into 3 sections. The current section is a set of features that the team is actively working on to ship, in one of the upcoming releases, or some of these features have already been shipped since the start of this calendar year. And then there is the upcoming set of features that we have prioritized. There is active development from our engineering partners. And some of these features may have also been shipped, but most of these features are targeted for the current calendar year. And then there's a future set of roadmap items that we have prioritized, and this future set tends to be a bit volatile in nature based on the market trends, based on our customer feedback. We kind of tend to adjust some of the features that are listed in the future bucket of this roadmap section. I'm going to start with the current. And we won't have time to go through every single feature. So I'll highlight some of the key features as part of our 3 buckets. So on the current set of features, a primary focus has been on, again, before I start, the roadmap itself is divided into 4 different sections. The top section in blue highlights all of the general experience features. And then the features in red is representing our augmented analytics, machine learning, and Gen AI features. The feature set in green essentially are features from the data platform team. And then the last set of features in orange is the product lifecycle management, administration, and the general cloud governance and connectors set of feature areas. So on the current set of features, we have been releasing a bunch of features that improves the overall quality of author content curation experience, storytelling experience, and also for the consumer experience. We've been focused primarily on parameters, a very powerful capability that allows our authors to sort of dynamically manipulate the data at runtime, addresses a number of use cases such as column selectors, top-end analysis, what-if analysis. We have extended the concept of parameters to be able to bind to filters that provides additional use case support, such as mimicking the pinning functionality using dashboard filters. parameterizing pretty much a lot of the filter controls that allows a lot of flexibility that enhances the overall experience for author to design the dashboard in a more dynamic and flexible way. Conditional decorations is essentially expanding the support for conditionally formatting your data using the support of emojis and icons. We've also expanded conditional formatting to maps. We've also added conditional formatting support to totals and subtotals in tabular visualization, which will come out in July update of 2024. Filters seem to be one of the most important interactive experience that our consumer users love. So we continue to expand our filter capabilities, added new styles such as checkboxes and radio buttons. And all of these new filter styles that we add to the product come with the parameter binding capabilities. So it comes like a full package. The moment we add a filter style, we will expand the filter capabilities to have parameter support. And that comes once you have a parameter support, the use case support expands beyond just the filtering use cases. Maps has been a central core area for product investment perspective. We've done a number of formatting and experience enhancements for maps, data label support, conditional formatting support, point size. You have controls to for the author to define the point size based on a measure. And some of the upcoming features that we'll cover in the next two sections is essentially expanding the concept of maps to have things like relative and dynamic and static reference layers, geospatial support, and things like that. Canvas layout continues to be one of the primary design experiences for the author. So we want to provide as much functionalities and capabilities for the author to design the canvas in the most elegant way. That is so when you open the workbook in any endpoint, right, like an iPad or a mobile or a laptop with different screen sizes, you have features in the product that allow the author to design the canvas and make the workbook experience more responsive in nature. So the recently released responsive editor experience feature in OAC allows powerful capabilities for the authors to design these flexible canvas layouts, allowing them full control to define the rendering and the ordering of the visualizations for different screen size resolutions. In addition to that, we've also released grid controls that allows, especially if you like freeform canvas styles, grid controls are one of the best options for you to basically, align your visualizations to, pixel-sized perfect pixel-sized alignment between different visualizations across the canvas in your workbook. And some of the other key features on the experience side is personalizations. We released filter personalizations with January of this year. So filters will be auto-personalized, and that's the very first feature we have launched with the personalization journey. And then in the next upcoming bucket and future bucket, you will see, the other features that you're working on the personalization side. Some of the features that classic OBIE has, like bookmark URL or things that are part of our roadmap and things that we're actively working on. We also released a curated unified navigation menu on the homepage. The homepage itself is going through a lot of iterative changes in terms of experience. The curated menu allows the administrator-like persona to kind of define the navigation menu that has specific links to content, not just from OAC, but also from your classic OBIE content. On the augmented and AI side, Auto Insights has gone through tremendous changes in terms of adding more scope for the author to define the specific insight type, right? And I have some screenshots that I'll walk you through. And we have also expanded our deep integration into OCI's AutoML, machine learning, AI capabilities. So as part of your data flow experience, you can now, register these OCI language, document, and PII detection models that basically can be applied to your data and enrich your data and expose as a data set, which can then be used in the workbook content curation space. On the data platform side, the most important one, two of the items that I think is critical is the incremental refresh of dataset reloads, allowing the data analyst persona to sort of refresh the dataset cache to only bring in the incremental load of your data from your data source. And then we also added role-based filters on data set, which is a very powerful capability and allows the data analyst to control essentially people of specific roles can see, specific set of data, right? And there's some pretty good blogs that our team has published on some of these capabilities that I definitely encourage this audience to look into if you're not already, or aware of these features. New connectors to OCI data flow, Delta Share, Google Analytics, the new version of Google Analytics V4, we've released that. And there's also fine-grain permissions, which is one of the critical capabilities in the product that allows an administrator to define permissions and assign to application roles. This allows your instance admin to control what users in your instance can do, what kind of activities, right? For example, the create action on the top right-hand side allows the user or author today to create workbooks, data sets, data flows. But with fine-grained permissions, you can specifically control that my specific set of users can create only workbook versus data flows versus data sets, right? A few screenshots of the product just to make it interesting. Parameters, a lot of powerful features, a lot of powerful use cases that we continue to support. We are expanding the parameter capabilities in the upcoming releases to address use cases like show hide content in a canvas using parameter-based conditions. Show hide canvases in a workbook that will come early 2025, again, based on conditions or based on the role of the user that was logged in. There's a lot of good content, enablement videos in our YouTube channel that I'll definitely encourage this team to look into. And we also welcome a lot of your feedback on parameters in particular, any use cases that you feel like needs to be supported, please use our community to log those idea labs and questions in your discussions. Filter personalizations, just a screenshot showing consumer experience user where when they load the workbook on the left-hand side, filters are auto-loaded, right, based on the persistence from the last session. And then we also display a toast notification telling the user or informing the user that the workbook is loaded with persisted filters from the last session. New filter styles, radio button, and checkboxes. We received a lot of love on this feature from a lot of our community users. So thank you for all the feedback. And it's one of the important feature experience for the filters area. And it comes with the parameter binding support as well. Curated navigation menu on the top right-hand side on your homepage. The bookmark icon, just before the profile name, it displays a curated menu, a navigation menu curated by an admin-like persona that has easy access to content right from your homepage. Conditional decorations, basically expanding the conditional formatting experience to support emojis and icons. Very powerful way to visually present and format and narrate your data for your end users. Map enhancements, a couple of screenshots showing data label support, conditional formatting support for maps. And we also added reference lines for category-based columns. There's a number of use cases to have reference lines based on non-measure columns, especially date-based attribute columns. There are a number of use cases that you can add reference lines to. And when you have date-based reference lines, you can now also parameterize the value and make that experience more dynamic for your consumer users. Canvas layout, the screenshot on the left-hand side shows the responsive editor canvas that can be opened from the responsive editor icon on the footer of the canvas. And this takes the user into a new editor experience, allowing them to define different breakpoints. As you can see, each breakpoint is different screen size. And for each screen size, you kind of then do the visualization, reordering, and rendering. And on the right-hand side, the grid lines, the grid support for freeform canvas design is also available. Role-based filters for data sets. I think the screenshot is not doing enough justification for the importance and the complexity of the feature, but there is a great blog from my colleague, Luis Rivas. So definitely check out his blog on the use case for dataset role-based filters. Auto insights, author can now filter for specific insight types on the top. being able to select what kind of insights you want to generate for your data sets, dimensional, time-based, and a few other capabilities that we have. And they can also influence the auto insights algorithm by selecting the specific columns that you want to be influenced on your data sets to generate the final insights. Some pretty powerful capabilities there. So here's a PI entity selection as part of your data flow, and this is part of our AI vision integrating deeply into AutoML, a data science platform from OCI. Facial detection. I think there's a great use case that Ben has also published in our blog and in LinkedIn about facial detection. I think his use case was around passports. So some pretty cool use cases that you can implement and basically enhance the overall consumer experience. So let's move on to the upcoming features. On the upcoming features, again, some of the key features is highlighted on the right-hand side. Data actions is a great way and a pretty widely used feature based on the data that we have from our telemetry. For any navigation-based experiences for your consumer users, data action is a great way to design your workbook. We are adding new launch options that allows the author to now specify how the target canvas or the target action can be open. By default, it's a new tab of the browser, but going forward, you can now choose to select it to be a new tab, same tab, or a pop-up dialog. The pop-up dialog in particular is a very good experience change. So check out this feature in the July 2024 update. Ability to hide columns is one of the most asked functionality in our Idea Lab request. So we are working on that feature. Most likely will come in the second half of 2024. So some critical use cases like being able to hide a column and sort on hidden columns, right? Essentially, you want to add an ID column to your table, let's say, but you don't want the ID column to be displayed to your end users, but still be able to sort your data by the ID column. Or you want to be able to pass that ID column, the hidden ID column, to a data action that then opens up, an employee ID on your HR system or your customer ID or on your CRM system, right? So pretty powerful use cases to implement using hidden columns. Bookmarking workbook URL is a classic OBIE functionality where, and this is part of our personalization journey for OAC, where, with this feature, any user would be able to grab the URL of the workbook, and the URL of the workbook will have all of the persistent filtered definition, and you can share that to your end users via Slack or email or other means, right? And the recipient user, when they load the workbook from that URL, they can bookmark it in their browser, and every time they open the workbook from the bookmark URL, right, the workbook is going to use that persistent filters that was defined by the creator of that workbook URL. So it's one of the good features that I'm excited for. Excuse me. Microsoft Team integration. I don't have a screenshot here, but if you Brandon was highlighting the bake-off demo. If you watch the video, it's a 12-minute video which has some of the innovation features. And one of the features that we kind of highlight is the Microsoft Team integration as part of the whole collaboration experience for your consumer users. It's a great use case. Definitely look into that video for more details. On the MyCalc side, we're adding folder management experience, which is, again, a highly asked request today. Our calcs are not sorted right in the workbook, and there's no organization capabilities. So with the folders, authors can create folders, nested folders, and they can organize your calc into these folders, move the calc across folders. We will provide alphabetical sorting and also custom sorting capabilities. And another feature for MyCalc is when you reference a calc within calc, we copy the entire formula, which makes the experience of MyCalc editor, pretty cumbersome, because the readability is very, very difficult, and any updates to the reference calc does not flow through. And we're changing that. So when you reference a calc with the calc, will only reference by name /ID. You can still right-click on the calc and copy the entire expression or just the referenced, the absolute expression or the full expression of the calc. I have a screenshot that I'll visually show you. And then on the AI and augmented side, we continue to expand our critical capabilities again into OCI's AI platform like face, document, and language AI, custom model support. But the most important one is our Gen AI assistant. The bake-off demo will have a section that highlights the whole experience for Gen AI. The feature is in limited availability, and we'll be making more announcements on our Gen AI capabilities in the upcoming releases. But that is the highlight of the whole AI area. It's coming out really well. It's a very powerful feature. On the data platform side, we have actually released the object storage support, right? So you can now use your file stored from OCI's object storage as a data source for your data flows. We are working on dataset editor diagram improvements. There's some pain points that we've heard from customers, and we're addressing some of those. And the connectors expansion to Databricks and OData. I believe OData 4 has been released for, but Databricks and Trino, I believe it's work in progress. On the LCM and administration side, the unified catalog is an interesting experience where the catalog experience on the OAC home, we're updating it. The unified catalog essentially represents, our catalog currently shows you a list of your workbooks, right? But the unified catalog is a vision where we want to also bring the data sets and any data flows as part of your foldering experience. That way, organization becomes more seamless, unified, and easy for the user. So let's review a few screenshots. This is the data actions new launch options. On the left-hand side, there's a new configuration options on the data action dialog that allows the author to select how they want to open it up. On the right-hand side, the pop-up dialog is a target canvas that is opened up in a pop-up as a dialog. And all of the existing functionalities of data action to pass the filter parameter context, that's all available. It's a pretty good experience, and this is also available. This will also be available in embedded content. So if you embedded a visualization in your native application and had configured your data actions to launch in a pop-up, right? You would have that same experience in embedded content as well. Bookmarking URL with persistent filters. The way you grab the URL is, so in this example, the author has some values set for the filters for people brand. So they go to the export dialog. The export dialog allows the user to select the canvas that they want to grab the URL. To select the canvas and copy the URL. There is an acknowledgement message displayed to the user that the URL is copied to your clipboard, and you can then share that URL to other users. Nested calc references. So on the left-hand side, right, there's an example of some derived calculations done. Revenue is being computed with another calc called adjusted bill quantity. And when you select the bill quantity, you can see that we no longer bring in the formula for adjusted bill quantity, but it's still referenced by the name. And once you save that calc, you can right-click on the calc and copy the expression or the expanded expression, which is the full absolute expression for the calc, the nested calcs. Folders by MyCalc. It's a simple experience on the UI. The right-click action on MyCalc will show you a create folder option, and you can create as many folders as you want. Excuse me, and you can also create nested subfolders. I don't believe we enforce a limit on the nested subfolders, but if there is a limit, it will be available on the documentation. The sorting functionality is not available on this demo server yet, so I don't have a screenshot for that, but we're working on the alphabetical and custom sorting. Customized tooltips. So tooltips, if you work with Power BI and Tableau, there's some powerful features to sort of provide verbose style tooltips. And we are also launching the same feature. Essentially a new tooltip editor experience dialog that allows the author to basically format and provide a verbose style tooltips with a preview functionality. And there's a bunch of additional formatting capabilities from the text editor that we have on this editor as well. Custom themes, again, one of the popular asks in Idea Lab. one of the pain points we have in the product today is, we don't have a good capability to apply the same format of a visualization to other visualizations in the Canvas or workbook. But with custom themes, privileged users who have the right fine-grained permissions assigned to them can create a theme. The theme has a set of properties for the workbook level and also for the visualization level, as you can see on my screen. So this is all our MVP capabilities. And as long as you have the right permissions assigned, you can save it as a shared theme. The shared theme becomes an instance level theme available for all authors and for all workbooks that's created in that instance. And then there's also a managed theme tile that will be available in the console to make themes as default, rename themes, and a few other general management capabilities. On the futures side, I don't have screenshots for future. Some of the features are work in progress, so we'll just talk through. Homepage, we continue to expand our overall experience for homepage based on a lot of feedback that we've received, we continue to receive from the community. One of the critical thinking for homepage is how do we allow our user, when they land on a homepage, right? There are two things, point them to the most important data that they want to have their eyes on, right? So we released watch list in calendar year 2024 for both consumer users and authors. And there's also featured watch lists that you can turn on the homepage. We're adding ACL controls for watch lists that allows watch lists to be shared across users. And then we're also working on this concept of custom groups. So a custom group is essentially a swim lane that you can add to your homepage that can have a mix of your workbooks, data sets, and and links to external content. So let's say that you have like a financial or a HCM based data that you want to organize as one singular swim lane. We don't have the capability today. Our swim lanes, or it's either it's data sets or workbooks or data flows, right? But in future with custom groups, you can basically say that I want these relevant data flows and data sets and workbooks to be presented as one single swim lane. So we're working on that, and then we'll get on to this concept of pages. Pages is a very interesting experience where, again, a privileged user with the right fine-grained permissions will be able to create a page. A page can have relevant content for a specific domain. Let's say that I'm creating a page that has all of my financial or accounting content. I can create a page, but the most important thing is the page can be shared, right? You can share and provide access controls on who can view the page and which users the page becomes as the default landing page experience on the product. So that is something that will come in CY25. New visualizations type, Gantt charts, gauge and org charts are things in the roadmap. We'll most likely start with Gantt chart, and then we'll catch up with gauge, and org chart is currently in the UX review, so that's something in the roadmap. Dataset diagram capabilities, like I mentioned, is a large project, so it will expand beyond what we are working on to future state as well. We are also adding non-analytical content curation to the content curation experience, right? So today in the visualize workspace, you can select a visualization, and then visualization has properties associated to it. And then there's canvas and workbook properties, right? But we don't have controls like buttons and menus and navigation list, breadcrumbs. Those are essential part of the curation experience, but they're not analytical in nature. So we will start work on buttons and button set and menus, also navigation list, and then we'll catch up on breadcrumbs. So it's a project that will initiate in the second half of 2024 and most likely plan to be shipped early 2025. Email delivery of reports and workbooks is a feature that's also in LA. We are adding more support for Excel-based support, embedded report content in the emails, things of some of those additional capabilities for the schedules of workbook is being worked on. Maps, you will be able to add, there are two things in Maps. One is we added support for vector-based map, right? So it is a feature in July 2024. Vector-based map is very powerful and very performant. Essentially, we use Oracle database vector capabilities to render the map. So when you zoom in and zoom out, there is no lag or there is no delay, right, with the data being zoomed in versus zoomed out, right? So it's a pretty seamless experience. Check out the video from Philippe with the July 2024 update. And we're also adding this concept of static reference layer. So these are business data, right? So for example, you're working on a use case to show the weather conditions displayed on maps for some geographical location. You want to bring in additional data for weather and add it as a layer, right? So you can bring that as a static layer, and you can then use that static layer as one of the layers of your map visualization to overlay some of the weather-related data for that specific geographical locations. So that's something we're working on. The Gen AI features and AI assistant will expand beyond what we're working on today to dataset areas and also for some of the content curation experiences as well. We'll also expand the Gen AI capabilities to the search in the homepage and also the ask feature. And those are key interaction patterns that we have in the product that is more conversation in nature, right? So you can kind of converse with the product based on that. So we're basically expanding those search and ask capabilities to have Gen AI support. On the data platform side, semantic model support for EPM and Essbase is one of the highly asked features. So that's something that the team is currently looking into. There's a lot of architectural level discussions going on, but we'll expand onto that. And then time hierarchies in multi-table data sets. We don't have the concept of creating hierarchies in data sets from dates with natural time levels such as year, month, quarter, or day, whatever the time granularity is. So we'll add we'll be adding the capability where a data analyst can now create hierarchies in data sets, based on these different time periods. And we're also working on dataset semantics and hierarchies. And this is essentially a capability for users to organize your facts and your measures into sort of logical folders. So when you create the data set, right, we will provide this sort of a presentation folder experience where you would be able to organize your dimensions, your measures into specific folders. And then that presentation folder is what's exposed on the workbook UI, right, for at the time of content curation. And then the big one on the admin and the LCM side is OAS 25. So all of these rich features that we have been working on and shipping since the start of this year up until January of 2025, all of that features will then be available for the annual update for our OAS customers in March 2025. So that's what I wanted to share. There's a lot of content, obviously. And then, as we have these sessions every quarter, we'll incrementally share updates on where we are with these features and how our roadmap is, is being changed or updated, right? So it's a good opportunity for us to share the updates on the roadmap to this community as well. Thank you. Fari, back to you.
Thank you so much, Avinash. We do have a few questions in the Q&A. Avinash, do you want me to read them out so you can respond?
Sure.
Okay. So the first question is from Mohammed from Accenture. He's asking, is there any automation in catalog code deployment from one environment to another? Currently, we have to do the deployment manually, report by report. I was thinking if there is any way for code deployment across different environments.
I am not sure, but I'm really happy to check with our engineering teams and perhaps Rafi, if you want to reach out to either Fari or myself on this topic, we'll put you in touch with the right team and the PM that's working on this particular area.
Perfect. And just for everyone, if there are any questions you would like to ask after the webinar, you can find my contact information in the registration page. And I'm going to also put that in the chat. So the next question is from Joe. Could you elaborate a bit more on the upcoming unified catalog feature?
Yeah, there are two aspects for the unified catalog. One is, the general experience improvement to the current catalog. Our current catalog does not provide a folder tree-like structure or UI. We don't have good capabilities to easily move content across folders. So we are working on providing or expanding that UI to essentially provide a tree folder-like structure on the left-hand side of your catalog page. And as you select a catalog, we'll highlight all of the content on the right-hand side. So that's all going to be the workbooks right today, right? The unified catalog essentially represents a concept where, let's say you create a catalog like my folder, right? And or a demo folder. You want to organize your data flow, your related data flows, your related data sets, and also your workbooks for all of that demo into that single folder, right? Today, the catalog does not have a concept of representing a data set or data flow as an artifact in the folder, right? A unified catalog will aim to achieve that concept where data sets and data flows will be part of your folder experience in the catalog, and it provides expanded organization capabilities. In addition to what you do in the catalog, you can also do similar capabilities of organizing these different artifacts into the custom groups on homepage as well, right? Whether we will have a link between this unified catalog and the custom group is still a question that we will solve internally. But that's sort of the overall vision, where we are leading to.
Perfect. So the next question is saying, what about richer capabilities in PDF export like the one in OBIE?
There is work going on the PDF export. I mean, if you, I'm not sure what specific richer capabilities you're referring to, but if you want to post that question in our community, we'll be happy to provide more details on what we're working on currently and any future requests for PDF export that you may have. We'll pass it on to the right product management team.
Perfect. And the next one is, when is the planned release date on public access workbook?
We don't have a release date yet. That's one of the hard things to provide to the larger community for things that we're currently working on. But as we make significant progress on a project, that's when we try to align our feature release to a release date. So right now we know it's sometime in CY 25. I don't have a hard release date to share.
Okay. So there was another comment, which I know Jamie also mentioned, that you can definitely use the Idea Lab for any of the feature requests, but I just wanted to read it here as well. We would like to add a feedback button in our reports, which would enable the users to give feedback on the data they see to the authors of the report. And the feedback button to be used by the consumers and the feedback to be read by the authors of the report. Is that something that we have on the roadmap or not at the moment?
No, we don't have, what we have in the long-term roadmap is this whole collaboration experience. More of a commentary experience in the product where, users who have the right access can, today, notes can be added by the author, right? But the consumer users to whom the workbook is shared, they cannot respond to the note, right? So the note is more of a static FYI kind of a thing. But we want to expand that whole note experience to a more commentary experience. But it's one of those projects that's not been prioritized yet. It's still in our backlog, and that's why you don't see it on the roadmap. I'll be interested to see, if you could log an Idea Lab request, if there isn't one already, we'll be interested to see what your use cases are very specifically as to why you want to use the product to get feedback directly. We might hear the use cases from customers and perhaps consider as part of your roadmap.
And one thing about the ID Lab, so for everyone which is on the call, to submit an ID, it's really taking like five seconds, I will say. You just put the title of your ID, you put a short description. I want a feedback button on the workbook so people can tell me if I like my workbook or not. You don't even have to put a screenshot. If we really need to have more information, Avinash or the product team will contact you. What I stress you to do, it's once you create your ID in the ID lab, maybe share the ID with people in your team, with people in your organization, with some of the Oracle Analytics users, and ask them to vote for it. One thing that you have to know, it's the ID lab is containing, I don't know, maybe 2,000 IDs currently, and more you have votes on your ID, more we are going to consider it. Because if it's in the top 50, top 100, then it's getting a little bit more our attention than if it's an ID with just one vote. So again, putting the ID is the first step. Second step, getting some vote is very important.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ben. I think we are close to the end of this webinar. Again, for everyone who joined us today, thank you so much. The recording of the webinar will be available online in our Oracle Analytics YouTube channel. So if you would like to share that with your teammates and colleagues, please feel free to do that. And feel free to reach out to us with any questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and have a great day.